This is the Fabian Society, founded in 1884, named after a Roman general who won wars by refusing to fight them. And they chose, and I want you to appreciate this, they chose a wolf dressed as a sheep for their coat of arms.
Wolves in sheep clothing. In this video, Josh Faulks from Green and Pleasant YouTube channel does a deep dive into the Fabian Society. We will also look at how the principles of influence and integrity shed light on what is at work here. Let's get into the details.
If you've already heard about the Fabian Society, stick around. Most of what's out there on this is surface level or just conspiracy theory. This video has the receipts, direct quotes with dates and page numbers from the Fabians' own publications. Everything you're about to hear, you can go and verify yourself. The bit they're less keen for you to look at, the eugenics, the lethal chambers, the praise for Stalin, that's in their publications too. You just have to know where to look. And the man who tried to warn you about all of this, his teacher at Eton, was one of them. This is the Fabian Society, founded in 1884, named after a Roman general who won wars by refusing to fight them. And they chose, and I want you to appreciate this, they chose a wolf dressed as a sheep for their coat of arms, on purpose. That's their actual logo. Most organisations at least try to hide the game. These lot put it on their headed notepaper. 4th of January 1884, 9 people in a room above a shop on Osnaburg Street, North London. Among them, a children's author, a stockbroker, and a civil servant. They just split from a group called the Fellowship of the New Life, which was basically a philosophy club for people who wanted to improve themselves morally before changing the world. The Fabians had a different idea. Forget self-improvement, they wanted power. Within 16 years, they helped found the Labour Representation Committee, which became the Labour Party. The Fabians, the trade unions, the Independent Labour Party. Of those original founding organisations, only the Fabian Society is still affiliated to Labour today, in unchanged form, 126 years later. Still there. Now, the name tells you everything. They named themselves after Quintus Fabius Maximus, a Roman general who beat Hannibal not by fighting him, but by exhausting him. Harassment and attrition, rather than pitched battle. Their motto, which Frank Podmore almost certainly wrote himself rather than quoting any actual Roman, for the right moment, you must wait. But when the time comes, you must strike hard. They had 3 logos over the years. Each one is a gift. First, the tortoise, with the slogan, "When I strike hard." Slow and patient, but violent when it counts. Second, the wolf in sheep's clothing, which they use as a full heraldic coat of arms, until even they realised the optics were dreadful and quietly dropped it around the turn of the 20th century. And third, the one they use today, a plain red square. Clean, modern, says absolutely nothing. 3 logos, threatening, honest, and then bland. You can read the entire history of their public relations strategy in that sequence. They published Fabian Essays in Socialism in 1889. Shaw edited it. First print run, 1,000 copies. Sold out instantly. Within 2 years, 27,000 copies. Before the First World War, 46,000. Translated into German, Dutch, Norwegian. The argument was simple. Socialism wasn't revolution, it was evolution. The natural next step. Inevitable. Gradual. Sidney Webb even coined the phrase, the inevitability of gradualness. Around 1917, a young teacher called Aldous Huxley taught French at Eton for about a year. Nearly blind, couldn't keep order in a classroom. Students played cards at the back. But he was brilliant with language. One of his pupils was a boy called Eric Blair. You know him as George Orwell. Huxley's brother, Julian, would go on to become the first director of UNESCO, the president of the British Eugenics Society, and the man who coined the word transhumanism in 1957. Aldous would write Brave New World, drawing directly on the eugenic ideas circulating in these exact circles. Remember those names. We're coming back to them. Right, so you've got 9 people in a room in 1884. Within 20 years, they'd founded the London School of Economics, started a major political magazine, and written the Labour Party's constitution. How? They called it permeation. That's their word, not mine. The idea was simple. Don't build your own institutions. Get inside existing ones. George Bernard Shaw, Fabian member from 1884, Nobel Prize winner, co-founder of the LSE, wrote this in 1892. We permeated the party organisations and pulled all the wires we could lay our hands on with our utmost adroitness and energy. That's a direct quote from their own published tract. He's boasting about it. In 1908, Shaw went further. He wrote that the Fabians had set themselves two tasks. First, to provide a parliamentary programme for a prime minister converted to socialism. And second, to make it as easy and matter of course for the ordinary respectable Englishman to be a socialist as to be a liberal or conservative. Normalise it. Make it the default. Make it so ordinary that questioning it seems eccentric. That was the explicit plan, written down, published, and distributed. And their historian, Margaret Cole, explained the system even more clearly. She said permeation meant converting key persons who were in a position to take action. And then, this is the bit that matters, she added, it was not necessary that these key persons should be members of the Fabian Society. Often it was, as well, they should not. So, the people doing the work don't need to be members. They just need to have been influenced by members.
True leadership combines influence, the ability to shape society positively, with integrity, the willingness to serve, assess, and adapt rather than cling to power or ideology. As I listened to Josh Faulks from the Green and Pleasant channel with its in-depth investigative journalism on the Fabian Society, I could not help but to wonder why some people would come up with such warped ideas. There is no care for the people. It seems like every idea or decision that is made is to ensure that they keep power to themselves systematically. When a nation is being governed by people who only want power, they will do anything that will allow them to keep power. That includes giving money to people who do not want to work and taking in as many illegals as possible, taking care of them so that they can use them for votes and keep power. It is never about the love for the people. It is about power. They do everything to try to make the people become dependent on them. They do not have the ability to make policies, to create business and wealth. And so they continue down a path of destruction. When people start to cry out, they blame others. Some of the ideas that the Fabian Society has are being released bit by bit. As far as I can see, none of them are beneficial to the growth and development of the nation. They lie to themselves so much that they truly believe that the ideas that they have are actually good for the nation. An old proverb say, there is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end, it only leads to death and destruction. There is no way that a group of people should want to see their nation decline and erode, because what happens in a nation reflects the leaders and the organization that backs them. The Fabian Society has leaders in all different eras of British society, including the Prime Minister, Energy Minister Ed Miliband, the Governor of the Bank of England, Chancellor Rachel Reeves, and many others. Look at the state of the nation and the direction they have been taking it. High interest rates, high energy costs, open borders, free speech crackdown. The decision that our leaders make determine the direction of our nation. You cannot have leadership who consistently say that they are taking action, while the action that they are taking are only making the lives of the people worse. There must come a point in your life as a leader when the light bulb turns on and you can see where you are going wrong and turn away from going down the destructive path. Integrity of true leaders calls them to personally assess what they have done, the influence and impact it has had, acknowledge where they may have not taken the right route, and change course. But those who are not seeking to serve the people, but rather uphold their ideological position, will never admit when their way is clearly not working. Rather, it is having the opposite effect of what they intended, if their motives were good to begin with. Until we have serious people who are not ideologically driven, people who understand the practicality of building and running businesses, This direction that the Fabian Society and Labour are taking Britain is only going to make us worse off. On the other hand, it is good that the people are seeing exactly what is happening now before it's too late. Influence on its own is not what makes a leader. Contrary to what many believe, many can have influence yet not have the makings of selfless, service-centered leadership. The members of the Fabian Society understand the power of infiltration. Infiltration is a key tactic for influence. It operates like yeast in dough. Not loud, not even always visible, but definitely impactful. That is how true leadership should influence. This is the kind of impact needed to counteract the impact of those who seek influence for the purposes of gaining greater power, control, and manipulation over others. But real leadership seeks to serve others to empower them. We need leaders who operate by time-tested principles to transform society in ways that benefit the nation, not merely a few self-serving ideologues. Britain cannot continue down this dreadful path. It is time for us to get behind a leader who we see has proven that they have stood the test of time and is ready to take back the sovereignty of Britain for the benefit of the British people. Choose leaders who show both real influence that empowers the people and the integrity to look honestly at the results of their decisions, admit when the path is wrong, and change course. Support those who live by influence and integrity. Vote for them and stand with them so Britain can move forward stronger. Let us hear your thoughts in the comments. If you benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.